My name is Avon, and this is First Drafts That Glow, a short story writing project by me. Now, last week we did a kind of a thriller/horror suspense story called Picture Offenses. I'm really proud of that one. Obviously, all of these stories have a bit of roughness to them, but that's kind of the point, just writing them in one go. But I really like the character. I really like the story. And it was pointed out to me that there's probably a lot of connection between the main character and myself, and some other personal things that are going on in my life. But that's what happens when you write. I'm sure I've mentioned before, like Clive Barker, he's a really great writer, and I love almost everything of his that I read. Weave World, not his strongest, but he just has such a wonderful way of expressing himself. And I also love that, the stories are queer stories. It makes sense why I was drawn to his writing when I was younger. So this week, we're shifting gears yet again. As you know, I do try to push and do different kinds of stories, different genres each time, just to make sure that I'm not, keeping to a safe environment, because I do want my writing abilities to strengthen. I want to know what my weaknesses are. I want to explore different writing styles and, just get a good sense of, what I might be good at that I might not have tried before. And, sometimes, like I said before, if some of these stories inspire you, hit me up. We can talk about it. I might give you permission to use some of my characters and some of my ideas if you, are really drawn to them for whatever reason. There is something in my eye, and I'm so sorry about that. So let's do all of the ad type stuff real quick. If you're listening to this on an audio podcast, I look really smoking hot. You can find this on youtube.com/@firstdraftsthatglow. If you're watching the video, this is also an audio podcast. Spotify, Amazon, I submitted it to a whole bunch of them. It should be available on everything. There's an RSS link in the information below. Now, I don't have any sponsors. I'm not monetizing these videos yet. I don't know if I ever will, even if I get sufficient followers. But, I was thinking about starting a Patreon, mainly because there's a nice community there. But, we'll see. But as it stands, I've done a few projects, and one of them is putting some of my art on print-on-demand websites, Redbubble, Zazzle, and Designed by Humans. They each offer their own flavor of t-shirt styles, t-shirt qualities like fabrics and stuff. The Zazzle has stuff like car mats, which I think is totally wild, and also Bluetooth speakers, which are kind of mid-range, but still the fact that you can buy them with some, random art like mine on it, I think is pretty cool. Designed by Humans has the smallest range of products, but a lot of people have told me that their shirts are top quality, so that's why I also posted there. Redbubble has kind of a more what's the way to say this, user-friendly way to put stuff on a bunch of products. So there's a wider choice I feel, on Redbubble. But anyways, the links are below. I have also, published 3 coloring books with my friend Athens Cascade. They're called Mindful and Funky. You can find them on Amazon.com or whichever Amazon in your country that you're from. They're full of full-page, intricate designs. For those times you want to disconnect from the internet. Book 3, the one I'm holding right now, everything is based on the number 5. So everything's a 5-pointed star and it goes out from there. It's great stuff. And if you're watching the video, look at how big that is compared to my head. It's a huge coloring book. Which, I bought a few coloring books and some of them are tiny, and there's 50 one-sided pages in each one, not 10, not 20. I thought 50 was a good number. And then I also designed hardbound journals, which are also on Amazon. I'm still waiting for the hat monotile design. For some reason that keeps getting delayed in ordering. I'm not really sure about that. They say it has something to do with shipping it from South Carolina to Oregon. Sure. Sometimes I don't really understand. But, I ordered an author's copy, so it takes longer. But anyways, this one, if you're listening to it on audio podcast or you're looking at it on video and you're like, what is that? This is called the Spectre monotile. Now, these are aperiodic monotiles, which means the pattern doesn't mirror. It's not predictable in the same way that other patterns are. And this is a non-binary flag. There's 200 pages in here, dots on all the pages. There's date, week, and time at the top. Really good for note-taking, really great for labs. All you STEM people, check it out. Okay, and what else? Oh, my my website, where you can find information on all of this, nailsthatglow.com. Now, I've talked enough about that and about some other stuff. Today's story is a young adult romance. And I didn't want to go the road of like the CW dramas or the overly complicated, just redonkulousness that is in a lot of movies and TV shows. I wanted to avoid that. I just wanted to tell a nice story about, a young girl and hanging out with her friends and, dealing with, what, young kids deal with. Now, I also want to point out that if you're listening to this with your family, there is talk about sexual exploration by way of a 14-year-old. I'm not saying that, I'm overly sexualizing a child or anything, but a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there are some people who feel that it is inappropriate for 14-plus-year-old kids to hear about stuff like masturbation, porn, stuff like that. I think it's completely natural. If you remember being 14, you were exploring some stuff. And if you're older than the internet, you were still looking at things. I mean, come on. So, it's mainly to illustrate the character's personal journey. Not trying to say anything more than that. This is a story about these young kids and their struggles. What else? There's a lack of death, of spaceships, of magic. There's just kids going to see a movie. That's pretty much it. And I really like this story. It is not as long as a lot of my other stories. I can't remember, but I think it's just over 4,000 words. Normally my stories are twice that long or more. But for some reason, like I'm suffering from constant fatigue. My brain just wasn't really pushing the same way that it does most of the time. But also, the story kind of stopped. Like, the characters always tell me what's happening. And if I reach the natural end of a story and I try to push past that, the characters fight me. They just refuse to do stuff. And I don't know about you, but I don't know too many 14-year-olds that once they've made up their mind that they're done, they're done. You're not going to get them to do anything else. And I know that sounds ridiculous, me talking about a fictional 14-year-old as somebody who told me, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I had to go, oh, well, all right then. But literally how it works in my head, the characters really do have autonomy sometimes in a way. Like, I know they're not real, but there is a sense of, I don't know what I'm saying. You just want to hear me read the story, don't you? One day I might be convinced to script these opening segments and, get them down shorter. But that would take the fun out of all of this for me. And I'm doing this to amuse myself. If you want to do it differently, start your own show. All right. Here we go. You ready? Because I'm ready. This is, the story is called Edition Progress. Now, yeah, I'm going to go off on another tangent here, but you know that I just choose a bunch of random words, and sometimes I ask somebody else to give me a genre. And this genre was given to me by my partner. She liked the other young adult story that I wrote, Leeward Pot. So she's like, why don't you write something else like that? And I was like, all right. So I did. And yeah, it is very different from most of the stuff I write, but that's why we're here. That's why we do this. All right. You ready? Because I'm ready. Okay, here we go. Whoa. All right. For those of you listening, I'm just making random noises. And again, if I go silent, it's because I'm looking at the camera or because I'm confused about what I'm reading. It just doesn't make sense. The podcast and the video that you're watching, there are no jump cuts or anything like that. This is all done in one take, cold reading. Yeah. But that's why we're here, right? I need to make that a shirt. That's why we're here. I think I said that last week. All right. Anyways, you want me to read? Here we go. All right. Edition Progress. A First Draftsthatglow story by Avon. A knock on the door woke Hen up, startled, causing her to slip partially off the bed. What? She yells best she can with her head upside down and her face turned into the duvet. It's 10. You said you were invited to see a movie with your friends this afternoon. The muffled voice of Bellama, followed by a shaking of the doorknob. Slipping entirely down to the floor, then fumbling to the door, Hen yells, I thought we all agreed that you and Ma Danny would not try to enter my room without permission. Looking around her room, seeing she had left out her laptop with the porn site still displayed. Her face flushed. Got it? She yells to the room. Sorry, honey, Bellama says through the door. Did you want me to order you a car, or is someone coming to get you? Ma, I'll be out in a few and we can talk about it. Okay, sorry. Hen was frustrated. 14 and unsure where she fit and still embarrassed about how she acted last week when Jan dumped her. Last day of school, and Jan told Hen it was over because she didn't think they were a good fit. Hen yelled and cried in the middle of the lunchroom while some of the guys and the mean girls laughed at her. Jan wouldn't be with the girls today. Oh. I got confused. All right. Jan wouldn't be there with the girls today, but she might be at the strip mall or the theater that the theater that was in the center of it. Looking in the mirror after closing up her laptop and kicking the toys under her bed, she tries to smile. Her hair frizzy and stringy at the same time, making her head look like it was resting in a cloud. The pastel blue and pink with the occasional shock of purple was still there. She didn't have the strength to change it yet. Jan had done it. Downstairs, Ma, Danny, and Bella Ma were sitting next to each other, poking at the laptop screen. Ma Danny sees Hen enter the kitchen smiling. Excuse me. Nina, how are you today? I was up late watching shows. Sitting across the table from her mom's, she grabbed some of the fruit and tea. I'm not sure I want to go out today. The moms glance at each other, then to Hen, waiting for her to continue. I'm just not ready to run into Jan, and I'm sure she'll be at the cafe like everyone else. Mi amor, Ma Danny says, making her way around the table, hugging Hen from behind. You have skipped the last 2 outings your friends invited you to this week. Do you think Jan will just vanish if you wait long enough? Danny, Billy Ma says. Hen's just not ready. Bah, Ma Danny says. This beautiful queen here can survive anything, can't she? Turning Hen to look at her. You need to go be with your friends. I'm sure it'll feel good to be out in the world. It might be easier if I had another 40 in my account, Hen says softly, looking over to Bella Ma. The moms laugh together. Ma Danny waits for eye contact. We already put 80 in there, enough to cover the ticket you got last night, snacks and food if you guys go out. You are not in need of more money. Hen laughs a little, hugging her mom. It was noon on the button when the car dropped Hen off in front of the cafe. She decided that jeans, t-shirt, and a small crossover bag would be enough. When she saw her girls, she wished she had added a few more accents. Barb and Nikki always seemed to coordinate even when they denied it. Both of them in pink summer dresses with pink flowers in their hair, done in a modern version of the 50s style. Sam was in their typical monochromatic black pants, layered shirt, and makeup with silver accents on their ears, fingers, and septum. Candace, a patchwork of denim jacket with no sleeves, colorful fabrics, and a giant floppy hat. At least I wore my ducks, muttering to herself as Sam holds up her right hand, clasping the massive vape block they appeared to need to survive the atmosphere. Hey, chick, come sit next to me. I got you a caramel coffee, Sam's voice boomed. The noise around the cafe was topped with some generic grunge music the baristas always played on the days they worked. The softer voices of Barb and Nikki were often not strong enough to rise above, so they would have to lean in when they had something to say. Candace never had much to say other than to sing along with almost every song that played over any speaker, in every show and movie. Hen wondered how she knew so many songs. Sam rallied the group to move to another area. They had started expressing the disdain for the 3rd time the whole album was being played. I wish they would play Nirvana. That bitch killed Kurt. Hen had the same confused look as the rest of the group, but they all knew Sam had strong feelings about music and some comics. Sitting in the corner of large planters with benches built in, Hen I'm having a time reading today. Hen is flanked by Sam and Candace, while Barb and Nikki start taking selfies and then pictures of the pair of themselves. Candace prods Hen with an elbow. Glad you came out, cave dweller. Yeah, well, still messed up about Jan, Hen says, lowering her head. She was mean to want to wait until the end of the year. I don't know what I'm saying here. She was mean to wait until the end of the year. Candace nods at Sam, whose nose was buried in their phone. Sam looks up, feeling the eyes. What? Oh, Jan? Fuck her. Who knows how long she was planning that. I prefer someone tell me when they wanted to break up over waiting like she did. Candace clears her throat. Hey, we're not sure that is what she did. Putting their phones in the darkness of their pants, Sam sits up. We don't? Is that why her brother told my sister something different? Hen sighs. Candace wraps her arm around Hen. Now, that is information that has passed through a few mouths and may not be accurate. My dad always tells me to only validate truth and not speculation. Well, still, Sam says, huffing, producing their vape from a dark area, filling the space with cinnamon and clove smells. Candace watches Barb and Nikki dancing around for a few boys. They're always thrilled for her attention, are they not? Hen nods. Have you ever seen them give out a number or add new followers to their private Insta? No. Candace shakes her head, looking to see if Sam has input. Sam nods, then shakes their head. Hen tilts her head to the side. They are very adorable today. Candace and Sam both say, yep, at the same time. Candace, Hen, and Sam sit in the corner while Barb and Nikki vanish for a short few, arriving at the space next to Candace, smelling of cheap beer and real cigarettes. Sam leans over to look at the pink ones. You guys smell like a wet ashtray. Ugh, Nikki grunts loudly. I told you the smoke would cling to us. Barb frowns. I have a fabric spray and my perfume. Opening her purse, producing 2 small spray bottles. Candace and Hen get up, helping the pink ones rid themselves of the smell. Sam is looked at for approval and nods after a second application of the fabric refresher. Let's see. Barb, you see, I wrote here they all barb. Like, what does that mean? So I'll just say Barb tries to sit between Sam and Hen. Sam motions for Barb to sit next to them on the other side. Nikki remains standing back to the group. Nikki remains standing with her back to the group, swaying with the breeze. What do you guys think of sex? Nikki says flatly, turning around. Sam looks up with a smirk. Candace and Barb express similar faces of exasperation. Hen blushes brightly under her light brown skin. Without missing a beat, Nikki continues. Like, I was wondering, because you can have babies without sex now, so why would you want to have sex? Sam sits up, freeing their hands of the vape and phone in the dark outfit. Where is this coming from, Nick? Well, Nikki looks at Barb, and as Barb nods. Well, Barb and I were talking, and I don't think I've ever felt any interest in anyone like that. The idea of it is gross. Is that normal? I mean, I know I could search about it, but my parents have all my stuff monitored still, so can you guys help? Sam produces their phone. Sounds like you might be asexual, but here, use my phone. Look up whatever you want. I can print anything out for you when I get home. Barb moves over so Nikki can sit next to Sam. They huddle together over the phone and whisper. Barb moves over to Candace. Well, we've lost them. How long until the movie? Barb asks as she pulls out a small bag of candy. Hen checks her phone. Another 15, I think. Another 15. Think we can pull them in without getting bitten? They all chuckle. Hen sits back looking into the pale sky. She was starting to feel happy she came out. Her bladder began to demand emptying with a sudden urgency. One of you want to hit the bathroom? Barb nods, standing with Hen. The cafe bathrooms had a very short line. 4 small rooms with a wall of sinks opposite the line. The guy in front of Hen kept burping a smell of peppers. Barb was silent, looking over her phone, replying to likes and comments on her photos. Barb leans to look, seeing a number of comments Uh, I'm not sure what I'm saying there, so I'm going to skip it. But that's why we're here. The small bathroom they went into was painted red and pink, large enough for both of them. Barb kept her nose in her phone as Hen smiles, letting the pressure go. Barb follows. As they exit the room, Hen sees Jan and sinks. She stops, forgetting how to walk. Her mouth goes dry and her hands start to feel itchy. Barb pushes her slightly, then sees Jan. Jan looks over, seeing Barb and Hen. Her expression remains neutral as she looks back to her hands and then walks away. Hen begins to feel warm. Barb leads her to the sinks, placing Hen's hands under the water. Hen returns, noticing how flushed she is. Outside, they see no sign of Jan. The group had not moved at all. Candace had decided to lay on her back, humming a song nobody knew. Sam and Nikki were both still buzzing softly about search words and printing pages. Candace hovers... I wrote Candace hovers over Candace's face. Like I said, yesterday Barb hovers over Candace's face. We saw Jan. Candace sits up. Sam and Nikki move their heads to look. Candace looks at Hen, reaching out for her. Aw, Hen, how are you? I don't know. She sort of went blank, Barb added. We can change our tickets to a later show and go eat or something now. Everyone chimes in agreement. Hen looks around. Nah, I got my crew and we'll be in the theater in the dark watching the movie. How will her possibly being in the same room affect that? In the line for snacks, no Jan. The seats they got, no Jan in sight. The lights dim slightly for the commercials, no Jan. The lights go lower for trailers, and a few people enter from the side. There was Jan. Her sleek black hair and pale skin and her crop top and jeggings was the only thing Hen could see. The entire theater vanished as the only person she said I love you to was looking in her direction, walking towards her. Hen saw Jan move without looking at her, stopped a row or two down. The two people she was with blurs. Only Jan was clear. The smell of Jan's hair and scented oil came to mind in her hands when she would hold Hen's. Sam's voice snaps Hen back to the world. Hey, you okay? Nodding, she points to Jan. Ah, moneyballs, Sam says in a sigh. If anything, this movie should be louder than that voice inside you that is screaming. Candace, sitting on the other side of Hen, pats her shoulder, then grabs her hand and holds it. Sam had been right. The movie was enough to distract her. The music, action, and drama sucked them all in. Only Nikki got up once, having a sneezing fit. Outside of the theater, Hen and Sam start talking about film details as Candace, Nikki, and Barb go over the pros and cons of the places to eat around them. After they all agree that burgers and shakes were the order of the night, there was Jan. Everything around went dim and blurry. Hen felt herself get heavy feet as Jan moved towards her. The air began to smell of her again, and the early evening sun somehow got brighter. Have you met Ji-ho and his girlfriend Mia? Jan said to Hen. Everything snaps back into place suddenly. Hen looks at the tall guy that could pass for a K-pop star and the literal typical cheerleader standing on either side of Jan. Her mouth got dry. She feels her face getting warm. Her fingers are cold and the air feels thinner. Sam steps in front of Hen. Yeah, hi Jan, in generic soap opera stand-ins. Later. Looking Sam up and down, Jan smiles. Yeah, I get it. Mia knows your brother. We all know you have a crush on Hen. Jan laughs. Mia wraps her arm around Jan, kissing her cheek. Hen hears the exchange as if it were on the other side of a wall. The girls wrap Hen with positive words and hugs. Sam steps away bright red. Nikki moves from the group to Sam. Hey, Nikki says, touching Sam's shoulder. You okay? Yeah, well, damn. Sam's shoulders lower. I didn't want anybody to know. Damn it. I knew. Nikki softly whispers, petting Sam's head. You must have forgotten telling me before Christmas break at that party Candace threw. You did try that wine with me. Remember how gross we thought it was? Ah, damn, I forgot. Sam looks up with wide eyes. You didn't tell anybody, did you? Of course not. You're both my gals. Nikki shakes Sam. I'm so embarrassed. She was right there, and Jan said that just to ruin our night. Sam looks over to Hen, Candace, and Barb. She's crying. I want to help comfort her, but I'm worried she might think it tacky, and Sam stops whispering to themselves. What's wrong, Sam? Nikki tries to catch their eyes. Sam, looking up, says, I think I have an erection, and it's really inappropriate. Nikki, without looking, says, Hey, that's how teen bodies work, Sam. My brother is cis, and he gets one of those like every 3 minutes. Horror movies, commercials for video games, and ice cream set him off. You're fine. Thanks, Nikki. I just need to calm down. Is my face still blushing? Well, yeah, but it just looks like light blush through your makeup. As they talk, Candace, Barb, and Hen cluster together. Hen, frozen in bright red with clenched fists, trying not to sob along with her tears. Candace standing to one side, arm draped over, holding her close, and Barb in front with tissue dabbing at the tears. Barb looks around. She's gone, love. Are you okay? Candace leans to look at Hen's face. Cry if you need to, girl. We got you. I will pop that bitch's face with my rings next time. Next time I see her if she tries to talk. There was a period in there for some reason. The nerve. Barb brushes Candace back with her free hand. Not helping, Red Sonja. Hen, you want to go somewhere and eat? She nods and starts to sob. Not far off, Sam sees the dam break and rushes over. Before they can say anything, Candace shakes her head. Sam stops their rush to match the walking pace to the restaurant. Once they were seated, Hen was in the center. Sam to one side, Candace on the other. Barb next to Candace and Nikki next to Sam. Sam tried a few times to start a conversation about the movie that ended as soon as one of them would answer the question or give an opinion. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm burping. I haven't eaten in forever. Oh, I drank spiced chai, so I apologize if you heard that. This isn't an ASMR show. All right, back to it. After getting mocktails and bacon potatoes as an appetizer, Hen seems to be relaxing more. She ate a few potato wedges and drained the entire mango lime mocktail before resting her hands flat on the table saying, Who in the fuck were those assholes that bitch was with? She blushes. Sorry, that isn't right. Who were those people with Jan? Candace and Sam motion to each other. Sam nods. Well, that Mia girl dated my brother, and Ji-Ho he's a senior. Hen nods. A senior? A man? What the fuck is going on? Is she in some kind of poly-sex relationship now? Barb leans in closer. Who cares? I'm not even sure what they were doing together. For all we know, her and Mia are dating, or they could just be friends. Candace nods. Right. She could just have been a bitch. I know Mia's a babysitter. She could just know Jan that way. Jan babysits, right? Hen nods. Yeah, she does it for a few families. Nikki's bright voice draws all of the attention. Then we know Jan is a dirty hoe and not worth the breath. Sam nervously laughs with the rest of the table. Hen looks around. Thanks, girls, all of you. Hen grabs Sam's hand under the table and squeezes it as Sam looks to her. Really, thanks. The next hour was filled with more typical conversations about what offenses against storytelling shows had committed, and if Margot Robbie was ever going to be in a movie where she was not a sex kitten of some flavor. Outside, each of them were talking about ordering cars. Candace said goodbye first as her sisters drove up in a Frankenstein of a muscle car before any of them even touched their phones. Barb and Nikki found a group of people they insisted they wanted to hang out with for a bit, both kissing Sam and Hen on the cheeks before vanishing like a candlelight in a strong wind. Standing next to each other, Hen and Sam find it hard to talk. Neither of them look at their phones. Hen starts to talk but finds words a little difficult. Sam, sensing her about to speak, turns to face her. They didn't decide it time to speak, also finding the knowledge of words missing. Oh my God, some of these sentences. What felt like an hour passed. After another minute, Barb and Nikki were in the back of an oversized pickup truck with a few other people. Nikki leans out slightly as the truck stopped to let people cross in front of it. She says, "Hey, if you two don't try to kiss, I will be mad." Her bloodshot eyes giving her awkward delivery context, followed closely by Barb yelling, "Yeah!" to be chorused by the population of the truck. Sam looks back to Hen, her face so close to her nose touching theirs. Well, it's not something I thought because you liked cis girls," and Hen grabs their face and kisses them. After a moment, Hen steps back. "Call me in the morning, and you will take me out on a date in the afternoon." Nodding, Sam smiles. Hen grabs Sam's hand as she punches around on her phone. Sam does the same. Hen's car comes first. Before she gets in, she kisses Sam on the lips again, then their cheek. Both of them noticing the warmth of their faces and aware of how much they must be blushing. That night, Hen is lost. Bella Ma and Ma Danny both gave up trying to talk to their daughter between the commercial breaks of the baking show. Hen just scrolled her phone, finding pictures of Sam. In the morning, Hen felt refreshed and alive in a way she hadn't since school ended. She was downstairs making coffee for her moms before they even made it out of the bedroom. I wrote Sam instead of Hen here. Hen made herself French toast and cut mangoes. When Ma Danny came in the kitchen to see the plate of mango and coffee, she wrapped Hen in her arms, kissing her head. "What got into you today? You haven't been up before us since the start of the school year." "I'm excited." Bella Ma came in, making a beeline for the java, sipping it immediately after pouring it. "Do tell." "Well, you guys know Sam, right?" "Yes," they both say as if bored voice actors. Well, we kissed last night." Bella Ma nearly chokes on her sip of coffee, and Ma Danny drops the mango she was about to eat. They glance at each other and smile. Ma Danny picks up the mango as she says, "Well, I was wondering when you two would notice the other." Bella Ma nods. "Oh, goodness, yes. They had a crush on you for such a long time." Hen looks up with brows pressed deeply down. "You knew?" "Moms know things," Bella Ma says. Ma Danny nods. "See." Hen drops her fork. "Ah! Why didn't you tell me?" Bella Ma smiles. "If it was that easy, we would have. We weren't even sure if it was just a passing crush," or, looking to Ma Danny, "or if they would say something or whatever. We were teens once, you know." Ma Danny drains her coffee cup. It's not the same, but some things are pretty consistent, and crushes between teens can be the most random thing. We like Sam, and very excited for you." Hen laughs. "I have no idea why I did that." Bella Ma's side hugs Hen. The intense emotions blurt out in strange ways. When are you seeing them again?" "I told Sam to call me this morning and tell me where they are taking me for a date this afternoon." Ma Danny blinks, mouth open, looks to Bella Ma and then back to Hen. "You told them?" Takes a deep breath, laughs, then sits. "Yep, You're our daughter for sure. That's how your mom got me. Sam looks to Bellama. Really? Oh, yes. Your mother here was so nervous I had to learn Portuguese. Well, not Portuguese, because I can't pronounce Portuguese words, I discovered. So I had to learn Spanish to tell her to ask me to tell her to ask me out on a date or never speak to me again. Don't ask me to say it again. My pronunciation is horrible. Danny Mom moves over to Bellama. Oh, don't worry. We don't speak as much when we. Oh my god, Moms. Hen throws up her hands, grabs the plate of mangoes and her phone before heading upstairs. In her room, she checks her face and hair, changes her shirt 3 times. She keeps thinking the time passes faster than the minutes between each time she looks. It's not even 9 a.m. when her phone buzzes a video call from Sam. Morning. Morning. Sam mirrors the energy. Their face perfectly finished in makeup and dark purple lip stain. Would you like to go to the farmer's market? There are food carts there with some amazing Indian curry and some great music. That sounds amazing. Text me the address. What time? Is an hour too soon? No, I'll see you there. The speed and focus Hen possessed startled her moms as she rushed down to find the parts of her outfit hanging on the drying line and grabbing hair cream from Ma Danny's shelf in the bathroom. The moms smile as Hen darts around the house, completing her makeup and hair in 20 minutes. Before she opens her mouth to Bellama, Bella says, You have 40 in your account. If you need more, let us know what you're doing first, okay? Hen nods as she orders her ride. Getting out of the car at a corner of the farmer's market boundary, Hen looks over her outfit and checks her face and hair in her phone. Jean shorts, docks, sports bra, fire orange shirt, eyeshadow that matches, and her hair in a high ponytail, oversized sunglasses rounding out the look. She looks around for Sam. She sees them walking towards her. Long black skirt, dark gray tank top with the band logo she didn't know. Hair in a similar ponytail, same perfect makeup as on the video call. That day, they held hands, laugh about silly things, and discover neither of them are prepared for how spicy some curry can be. It was a perfect day. Okay. So that's the story. What'd you think? And I know, not my strongest, but I really like the characters. There were a lot more errors than there normally are. I would say I'm going to blame how exhausted I was. Just not being able to focus. But that's not fair because there have been other times where I've been exhausted and the story just kind of like happened. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, sure. Now, having read it, I can see what I could have done more. I could have added a bit more drama with Jan. I could have maybe explored how she knew Mia and Jiho. But I think focusing specifically on Hen and her moms and her main friend group and how supportive they were of her, and just how awkward things are in general for teenagers. And I could have also explored Sam a little bit as well, but that's why we do this. It's why we're here. I'm learning as much each new story that I write, and none of my stories are really like that. So that's new for me. I mean, Leeward Pot was more dramatic, and all my other stories have over-the-top elements or fantasy or some kind of science fiction Deus Ex Machina or MacGuffin happening. Not this one. It's just kids being kids. And yeah. So I really hope you enjoyed it. This is very much a short episode compared to the past 20. So, I don't know. I could sit here and talk for a while. You know, have you guys ever watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood reruns? You know, no, not your thing. Look up some of his shows. There was one where he went behind the scenes for the Incredible Hulk TV show, I think in 78 or something. And that was so cool when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was when I was a kid. I knew it had to have been a repeat. Obviously, I'm not that old. But it was so neat to see a behind the scenes thing of a superhero TV show on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yeah, it was great. If you look it up, it's charming. Lou Ferrigno looks amazing as the Incredible Hulk. But yeah, that's me being completely random. Just to remind you, my website, nailsthatglow.com, has links and information to all of my projects, all of my works, all of my products like Mindful and Funky coloring books by me and Athens Cascade, available on Amazon.com. My hardbound journals that you can find also on Amazon.com. And, the print-on-demand stores, Redbubble, Zazzle, and Designed by Humans. All, designs by myself. I've been more recently been working on a series of kind of portraits, very stylized portraits with one word underneath it. So far I've done dead, empty, and mood. Go check those out. They're all the first two are kind of gothic. The third one's not as goth, but still, in the vein of I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying there. But, thank you again for joining me I forgot the name of the story. I need to have a card or something right here that, gives me all the points I need to hit. Maybe I'll do that for next one. I have a whiteboard for that. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. Anyways, I want to thank you so much for coming and joining me for, what is this, episode 28? Oh my gosh, 28 episodes of short stories. Edition Progress. A First Drafts That Glow story, this one being young adult drama. Thanks for going on this journey with me. And if you have any suggestions or comments, firstdraftsthatglow@gmail.com. You can add stuff in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, and always